Good evening, Tallahassee. Welcome to this Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
And I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton. It's October 30th out there, which
29th.
It's the 29th out there, and it might confuse some of us. It obviously has been because it was so warm out there today.
Yeah, it was really warm as I was walking over here this afternoon.
Yep, those lunchtime marches across campus could have been mistaken for August-like conditions, leaving us feeling a little sweatier than is normal on the last week of October.
A little bit less humid than August, but still not the best weather for the end of October, especially as we're starting to think about trick-or-treating Saturday.
That's right. Stay tuned. We'll be giving you your full trick-or-treating forecast on the next test segment. But for now, let's continue talking about what we saw out there today. We saw a lot of clouds build up, but no rainfall here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, I'm grateful we didn't have rain while I was walking around, but we do need to get some rain because we are in a bit of a drought.
Oh yeah, we are definitely in a drought. We saw very little rain throughout the whole month of October and a lot less this past weekend than we were expecting. What could have been up to 3 inches, our professor only saw 0.04 of an inch in his rain gauge.
That's almost nothing.
Yeah, it really made very little impact, just had us break out the umbrellas very briefly.
Yep, there is a chance of having to break the umbrellas out this weekend, so I'm going to take it out for our overview, and I'll give you a little preview of what that's going to be. Right now here in Tallahassee, it's 86 degrees, partly cloudy, and the humidity's not too terrible.
We're going to go dead again.
She's the only one who we didn't change.
But not too terrible, especially when you add that wind in. That wind really just makes it feel comfortably warm. The satellite and radar, nothing to see here around Tallahassee and the surrounding area until you get towards Mariana and Bainbridge. They're getting some little showers coming through there, but nothing too major right around the Tallahassee area. Now looking at tonight, 60 degrees, partly cloudy, and it's going to be nice and cool. So if you're going out and about, the circus has a show tonight for Halloween, that if you're going out for that, it's going to be great. But looking ahead at the rest of the show, we've got pleasant temperatures ahead in the forecast, a spooky Halloween, and those rain chances are going to increase Sunday and Monday. So you might want to break that umbrella out as I come back to the desk here. You might want to start thinking about where you have lost your umbrella.
Yeah, I'll have to go digging to find mine because it's the last week of October, which means candy, costumes, and trick-or-treating forecasts as promised.
Yeah, that Halloween, that there is a chance of rain, but that's very late in the evening, that the evening's going to start off really pleasant temperatures just below 80 degrees.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. High 70s dropping into the lower 70s for the later trick-or-treaters or college students out enjoying Halloween with their friends, with the rain chances hovering just above 0% for most of the evening and then climbing up around 30% by midnight when we transition into Sunday and the month of November. And we lose an hour we gain an hour due to daylight savings.
Yep, some people are going to be planning on trick-or-treating an extra hour, others are going to try and get an extra hour of sleep. Either way, the fall daylight savings time switch is most welcome.
Yes, and for now, for your full local forecast, let's throw it out to Jake.
Thanks a lot, guys, and let me tell you, I'll be taking that extra hour of sleep gladly. I could definitely use some of that. We have a lot to talk about in terms of weather around here, so let's start with today's almanac. We have a high of 86 degrees today, pretty warm compared to what we've been seeing lately, fairly close to our record of 89 that we saw back in 2009, and significantly above our average of 78. Current temperatures around the area, our hot spots are right in the center of our viewing area. 85 degrees in Tallahassee, a little bit cooler up towards the northwest. 79 in Mariana, where the rain has passed through, and 79 down in Apalachicola. That's how it always is with, its proximity to the water. Satellite and radar is looking pretty clean across much of the southeast. Some showers firing up off the southwest coast of Florida, nothing significant, as well as that line that Margaret mentioned that began to form in Alabama and southwest Georgia, stretching down from Macon down towards Panama City. Nothing too bad. Might get a sprinkle around here, but nothing we can't handle. Our futurecast temperatures, as we go through the night on Thursday, the northern regions of our viewing area are going to be the cool spots. Bainbridge, we're looking at 55, warmer near the water, as of course we expect. 65 over in Apalachicola through the day on Friday. A little bit cooler than what we had today. 80 degrees around here, 76 our cool spot over in Mariana, and a warm spot only of 81 in Perry. It was 86 here today. So you can see a little bit of a difference. Friday night, don't worry about those 40s. We're not expecting anything that cool, so The jackets might come in handy, but nothing extreme. We'll be expecting lows probably in the 50s. Our warm spot still in Apalachicola at a pretty comfortable 63 degrees. Our sailing forecast for Friday, it is going to be a beauty to get out on the water. Winds coming out of the north at 5 to 10 knots. Little to no wave activity, partly cloudy skies. The sun's going to be up until 7 o'clock with a very nice, comfortable temperature in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. So it's going to be a beautiful day to get out there. Just keep the sunscreen in handy because that cloud cover will be pretty close to non-existent. Tonight's forecast, 60 degrees for a low under partly cloudy skies, a cool, very comfortable night with winds coming out of the south-southwest at a nice, comfortable 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, 80 degrees, partly cloudy skies, a warm day, not much wind to speak of, so again, a very comfortable one if you guys want to get out and enjoy your Friday afternoon away from class. Tomorrow, actually, speaking of that, we have a Seminole softball game. The Garnet and Gold scrimmage is going to be at 2 o'clock p.m. 78 degrees we're expecting at first pitch with a wind coming out of the north at 5 miles per hour. And stick around because after the game, we're going to have an exhibition against Thomas University at 4. So it's going to be looking awesome for that. Now our 7-day forecast, as we go through the weekend, rain chances are going to increase with the front approaching our area. Staying comfortable though, temperatures staying in the 80s throughout much of the week. So let's expand this over to the southeast. Here's Shane.
Thanks, Jake. What we've got first is a look at how the temperatures are doing across the region. We've got 85 degrees in Tallahassee, a lot cooler up to the north with 69 degrees in Atlanta and 78 in Shreveport out to our west. But it's also pretty humid out there too, especially in Wilmington, North Carolina, where they're coming in at 73%, 45% here in Tallahassee. So while it's hot, it's not so humid, which makes it a little more bearable. 82% down there in Key West. When is it not hot and humid in South Florida? You'll have to ask someone else because I don't know. 30% humidity in Tupelo, 33% in Little Rock. They're sitting really dry because they had the cold front pass earlier today. And they don't have really any heat indices to speak of. But down there on the peninsula, like I said, hot in South Florida. Feels like 92 degrees in Key West, 88 degrees in Orlando, and feels like 86 right here in the capital right now. So it is a warm walk around FSU's campus if you're out and about this evening. As for current wind speeds, pretty breezy out here in Tallahassee. We've got sustained winds of 12 miles per hour. In anticipation of that cold front, the winds are really kicking up into top gear there. A little bit less speedy winds up in the northeast. 5 miles per hour in Tupelo, only 8 miles per hour in Montgomery, but it is breezy all around across the southeast. Breezy, but not too rainy. We've got a lot of high clouds moving out of the region. We're talking about some high cirrus clouds over Atlanta pushing out, and a narrow band of rain moving across the panhandle right now. We're not expecting any precip here in Tallahassee. Over the next few days, our futurecast shows just that, with conditions staying high and dry across Tallahassee with high temperatures and dry conditions. We do have a Gulf low way out there to the southwest of New Orleans that'll be impacting our weather later this weekend, hopefully once trick-or-treating is all said and done with. It's going to be dousing Louisiana into Mississippi and Alabama before it comes knocking on our doorstep overnight Saturday into Sunday. 60 degrees will be our low tonight in Tallahassee, a lot cooler up to the northeast. 42 degrees in Tupelo, 44 degrees in Little Rock. They're getting close to the 30s down there. So, and they're climbing only into the 70s tomorrow. 77 in Montgomery, 83 in Tallahassee, our high spot checking in, 87 degrees tomorrow in Key West. As for the rest of this segment, we're going to talk about some weather history, some very special history. In fact, it's the 3-year anniversary of the landfall of Hurricane Sandy.
Yep, that's today, and it was the deadliest hurricane of 2012, making landfall up in New York and New Jersey. That they don't typically see hurricanes up there.
Nope, Sandy made landfall as a Category 1, and that's pretty low on the Saffir-Simpson scale, but it did set the record as the second costliest hurricane in U.S. history, so it was not a storm to sneeze at.
Yeah, they don't have the same sort of, they're not used to hurricanes up there, so while around Florida, Category 1 is like, okay, yeah, might want to stock up on provisions up there. It's much more serious thing to deal with.
It was very serious. States of emergency were declared in New York, and it was a serious travel nightmare with tunnels, airports like LaGuardia, the Tappan Zee Bridge, all being closed down in anticipation of this storm.
Oh, I can imagine that would have been really rough.
Yes, it was. But for right now, let's throw it out to Casey for another local forecast.
Thanks, guys. Let's get into the current conditions that are going on across the area right now. In Tallahassee International Airport, sitting at 85 degrees, partly cloudy skies, that humidity 45%. There's winds a little on the gusty side, though, at 12 miles an hour, maybe making it feel just a little bit cooler as you're walking around campus and walking around our area. Now, temperatures around Tallahassee sitting a little cooler than in the metro. 80 in St. Mark, 79 Carabel, 82 Wilma, low to mid 80s and upper 70s are the story across the area, even getting as low as 76 as we get up to areas like Mariana. Now, in terms of the radar across the region, well, we do see a few showers trying to creep into the viewing circle right now, just at west of Wilma, just west of Liberty County, also Franklin County. We do see a few showers starting to develop. This is near the Weewahitska area, and this is going to make its way over to the east. It's going to weaken, though, this area of storminess, and we're only expecting a few sprinkles when we get into our area, but we'll keep our eyes on it just in case, as we could see a few sprinkles out there. So if you're driving in that area, just be aware of that. Now, water vapor imagery, well, we do see a little bit of moisture trying to creep its way into our area. Not too much, though. A little bit of faint green color on the map, trying to squeeze out the orange color, the dry air on the imagery, but really not doing too big of a job. Maybe again a few sprinkles from a cool front that's going to make its way through our area, but relatively dry. Now, we do see across our area, Futurecast is not really picking up on those showers, so again, those showers might be a little bit stronger than indicated, at least on this, but overall, the big weather player is a secondary cool front behind the first one that's going to make its way through our area here as we get in toward the next couple of days or so, and we'll start to see this one make its way through getting into Friday night. Now, we'll be watching areas out toward Texas, though, as an area of low pressure could bring them a little bit of stronger weather in toward those areas. Some rainy conditions could start to filter their way into our area as we get into later on Saturday and into Sunday, so it's something to keep a close eye on across our area. But relatively nice conditions for the game. That's the good news across our area. It should stay relatively dry across our area, at least for that big game against the Syracuse Orange. Now tonight we're talking about 60 degrees Tallahassee, 61 St. Mark, 63 Carabel. Partly cloudy around, but a relatively nice evening across our viewing circle. Just great weather around, except for those few sprinkles that could start to creep their way into some of our western counties. And Friday, 82 degrees for the high in Tallahassee, 79 St. Mark's, little cooler in some of the coastal counties, but relatively nice conditions around. And an extended outlook. Our first day planner, of course, we'll be talking about how to plan your day. We're talking about a chilly start in the morning, warming up, maybe upper 70s, lower 80s by the afternoon. That 5-day forecast, we see those temperatures nice for the game. Showers starting to come back in, though. We'll go ahead and now take it over to Jake, though, to brighten things out.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. We're sitting pretty here around Tallahassee, but as Casey mentioned, there is this low-pressure system forming in Texas. It's going to make its way over here. That's going to be a big focus of our national segment here. Currently around the nation, something I want to point out is the eastern seaboard. The high temperatures here, we see 69 degrees in Boston, significantly above average. But as we look towards the north, 46 up in Minneapolis, 45 up in Detroit. We see, dare I say, an Arctic blast on the way? We'll see about that. But it's going to be cooling down significantly with this low pressure system passing over much of the northeast, a little bit warmer down towards the south. Now, satellite and radar is pretty clean throughout much of the country, but something I do want to point out here is this low pressure system up in the northeast. We had some snow actually moving through Wisconsin and Michigan earlier in the day, now moving through areas of Ontario as well as into Quebec. Rain pushing through Boston, and as well as a little bit of shower activity down in the desert southwest in Phoenix and near Albuquerque. Now, let's focus in a little bit on this northeast storm system. We see the circulation associated with a low pressure. That's what that means. And it's pushing this rain on through upstate New York into Maine now. Bangor is getting hit pretty hard right now, but relief is on the way just in time for that Patriots-Dolphins game, which I'll be talking about a little bit later over at the desk. Now towards the southwest, not as much to talk about, but we see some snow activity actually up towards Denver, up towards Salt Lake City. Some shower activity trying to creep its way also into the western portions of Texas. Over the next 48 hours, it's going to get really cool throughout much of the northern two-thirds of the country. I see 30 degrees here in Kansas City. That's looking really chilly, as well as 30 over in Salt Lake City. Warm spots down in South Texas, 73 over in San Antonio, as well as South Florida, with Miami sitting at 77 degrees. Moving into the day on Friday, it's going to stay very cool across much of the Northeast. That front has passed. Only 46 degrees in Boston a couple hours from now tomorrow, 44 down in D.C., and then in San Antonio, still staying pretty warm at 72, with that low not quite making its way out just yet. Saturday, pretty cool throughout much of the west, 32 degrees in Albuquerque, again staying warm towards the south. And through the day on Saturday, as the front's impact is lessened, it's going to get a little more comfortable throughout much of the middle of the country. Lots of 50s and 60s to talk about here. Airport delays, not one to be found throughout much of the major areas of the country, so do not worry if you're traveling anytime soon. Tonight's forecast, we're seeing 38 degrees in Minneapolis, very cool much of the northern two-thirds of the country, 74 down in San Antonio, and a nice cool 39 over in Salt Lake City. Tomorrow, 83 degrees around Tallahassee, 51 up in Detroit, a lot cooler, a lot more comfortable, and so that's all I got for you. Let's send it over to Casey at the desk.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about weather history now. In terms of some of the other events besides Sandy, there were some severe thunderstorms in 1987 in the Phoenix, Arizona area that caused some serious conditions, 86-mile-an-hour winds in that area, as well as baseball-sized hail, over $1.5 million worth of damage just outside of monsoon season. So a very unusual situation there. They even had an inch of rain in 15 minutes. So again, serious conditions now transitioning into the perfect storm in 1991 in the Northeast. It was just starting to begin. 63-foot waves were noted off of Nantucket in Massachusetts, as well as 36 boats became beached in that area, as well as winds to 70 miles an hour. Just a very serious situation in that area. Serious conditions, not expecting anything like that around our area though. But right now we'll go ahead and take it over to a look of more weather information. We're saying.
Thanks, Casey. No severe thunderstorms here. What we've got is sunshine in the Sunshine State, which is very appropriate. The only exception to that rule is this little band of rain showers moving across the western regions of the Panhandle right now and approaching the Tallahassee area, but we're not expecting a lot of rain associated with these, just a few clouds, if anything. Out on the peninsula, things are looking mighty clear. We've got clear skies from Jacksonville down to West Palm Beach, just a little activity down there in Miami where it's a little bit more moist right now. 85 degrees in Tallahassee, 75 in Jacksonville, and it's currently 83 degrees and a bit cloudy down there in Miami with a little sunshine on the way. But the moisture right now is pretty significant. We've got a dew point of 61 degrees in Tallahassee and 62 in Jacksonville, so it's getting a little more humid. And once this number climbs above 65 degrees, you can really feel the sweat out there, and that's what they can feel in West Palm Beach and Miami, with dew points coming in over 70 degrees, which indicates a lot of moisture in the air right now. Here's a water vapor imagery map for the upper atmosphere. It's showing dry conditions way up there above Tallahassee and relatively stable conditions overall, with a little instability down there in Miami. They've got a little bit of rainfall going on right now, but it is nothing to worry about. And then behind that cold front, all that open blank space on the map, that's dry conditions that are coming our way before a little bit more rainfall. Now let's talk about heat indices. This is a measure of what it feels like outside. So whatever the temperature is in Fort Myers, it currently feels like 86 degrees, feels like 89 in Miami, and they've cracked 90 degrees in Key West, where it feels like 91 out there right now. So it may be the very end of October, but it's still feeling like summer here in Florida, as it often seems to do. Let's talk about what those temperatures are going to do over the next few hours, though. From 73 degrees this evening in Tallahassee and 82 down there in South Florida, temperatures are going to drop overnight into the lower 60s, maybe even cracking the upper 50s in some regions of South Alabama and South Georgia. As for South Florida, they're only dropping down to the mid-70s, but what else is new? We've got 80 degrees tomorrow afternoon across most of the Sunshine State, so it's looking like a beautiful October 30th. And then temperatures really drop overnight into Saturday morning. We may not be getting quite down to the 40s. Our model gets a little overexcited about those numbers sometimes, but it will be a cool one. So break out those jackets you needed earlier this month, because we promise that you'll be needing them again soon. And then it's looking like a gorgeous afternoon for the football game on Saturday. As for tonight, we're getting down to 60 degrees across the Panhandle, around 70 degrees in South Florida, and climbing up to the lower 80s in North Florida with the upper 80s down there in the Miami-land region. Now let's send it off to Casey for a look at some severe weather.
Yeah, we're going to get right into that, Shane, and we do see what's going on. First, the forecast for your Saturday. Nice conditions across the state ahead of that game. But now in terms of your Halloween forecast, we do see that weather situation is around. It should be relatively nice for that. Maybe a few showers in the evening. I'll dive into that forecast for that here in just a second. It's 2 days away, though. The Flying High Circuit starts tonight, goes tomorrow as well. Parents will be coming to town for Parents Weekend as the FSU home game is against Syracuse that starts at noon. Should be an exciting day out there for that game. And now in terms of that Halloween forecast for your Saturday, we do see it should be a pretty nice evening, 83 degrees. Again, we could have a few showers around, so make sure you have ponchos if you or your kids are trick-or-treating out in the area. We do see winds out of the north at about 5 miles an hour. It should be a relatively nice Halloween around, though, across our region. Now, in terms of the radar imagery across our nation, we do see that there are some shower activity. It's some shower activity in the southwest areas around Phoenix, Albuquerque as well. A few showers starting to come in. I referenced Phoenix a little while ago, and they had severe weather in 1987, not occurring today at least. Not much of a risk, at least for that, noted in the Storm Prediction Center's outlook, but we could have a few isolated strong storms in western parts of Texas around the El Paso area. It's something to keep an eye on. Not currently, no warnings for them, so that's some good news, but there is at least a chance for some isolated damaging winds and maybe even an isolated threat of a tornado in parts of southwestern Texas. Now, we do see that there are some flood warnings, river flood warnings in southeast Texas, also parts of Louisiana, Baton Rouge over to New Orleans, a few river flood warnings in that area. Now, that's not a main concern, though, as we do also have some frost advisories around the Kansas City area, and as we're starting to see cooler conditions starting to come in, we see western parts of Missouri as well as Joplin, they're under this, meaning some of those cool conditions starting to settle in across our nation as we get closer and closer to winter even. Now, going ahead and seeing exactly what's going to go ahead and go on in terms of the storm reports. Well, earlier we did have 8 storm reports in the Northeast. The time period has transpired, though, between that, so luckily those are no longer being shown on our graphic, at least, as we did have a few of those earlier in the Northeast. There were some strong to severe storms in that area that even caused some damage. Now, in terms of those futurecast temperatures for tonight, we do see 37 and even cooler conditions around Kansas City. Minneapolis getting pretty cool. Model might be overdoing things just a little bit. Atlanta, maybe a little warmer than that in northern Georgia, but relatively nice conditions. We see temperatures warming up across the southeast. Again, nice conditions overall, but still starting to see how cooler air is starting to make its way through the region. Now, tonight's forecast, we see cool temperatures in the north, 30s and 40s. Much warmer in the Tallahassee area, though, around 60 degrees. But right now, go ahead and take it over to the desk where Jake is standing by.
All right, thank you very much, Casey. And hey, let's talk some sports. After all, I did promise you a little bit of Dolphins-Patriots football earlier. So let's start off in Foxborough. Tonight, 8:25 kickoff. Dolphins taking on the Patriots. The Dolphins are resurgent under interim head coach Dan Campbell with a 3-3 record, heading in to face an undefeated New England squad with Tom Brady playing maybe some of the best football of his career. It's looking like a fantastic night for all of you in Foxborough to watch some football. The front's passing through, temperature in the 50s, decreasing throughout the night. A little bit breezy, though, so field goal kicking might be a bit of a difficulty. Now, in FSU news, we have a little bit of a game going on between Pittsburgh and North Carolina tonight. It has some ACC implications. Again, looking beautiful. 50 degrees at Heinz Field as two 6-1 teams face each other in what looks to be a game with high implications toward the ACC championship game. That's all I have for you for sports. Let's send it over to Margaret with a look at the local weather.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I don't necessarily follow all the sports, but I will be paying attention to see how that one game affects ACC standings. Around the southeast here, 85 in Tallahassee, and it gets cooler as you go further north, and especially as you go out west. That 76 out in Meridian in Mississippi. And they've got a cold front going through, so that's why they've got the cooler temperatures, and those are going to be coming towards the tail end of the weekend, getting into next week, although we'll have a little bit of rain to deal with that I'll talk about a little bit later. That not much on the satellite and radar, and there were some showers that we've been talking about earlier. They're not showing up here right now, But that's just a little bit of a taste of what we're going to have to deal with to get those nicer temperatures. Oh, there's that rain, but yeah, so we got winds that out when you get north and west of here. You see these winds coming out of the northwest, bringing in that cooler air. We've got our winds coming out of the southwest, bringing in a little bit of warm Gulf air. So we got a little bit more to wait for that. But here's that low pressure system and cold front that I've promised that are going to be bringing us fantastic conditions next week once we get through that rain. That this cold front's going to be pretty dry, but then after it, you see another low pressure system building here, and as it makes its way to our area, it's going to bring all of this rain in. So if you're going out, especially trick-or-treating, have your umbrella or poncho ready. You may not need it if you're in before 9 o'clock, but if you are going to be out much past that, do be ready. Now, going out onto the water, the winds are going to be from the north at 5 to 10 miles an hour, and the surf's going to be pretty low, less than 2 feet. So your biggest concern, that UV index at 6. So especially if you sunburn easily, bring the sunscreen out with you. Now tonight, it's going to be 60 degrees, partly cloudy, so it'll be pretty cool, pretty nice, especially if you're going out to that circus show. That'll be perfect conditions for that, because the tent, while it will provide a little bit of insulation, isn't going to be much. Tomorrow, however, is going to be beautiful, 80 degrees, relatively sunny. You will be seeing some clouds, but nothing too terrible, so it's going to be a great day if you want to go out for that. Now, as to what to wear, tomorrow with those nice temperatures, t-shirt and jeans are going to be perfect to wear. Going into Saturday, game day, gotta wear your garnet and gold. You can make your call whether you want to wear shorts or a t-shirt. Some people, or shorts and a t-shirt. Make your call shorts or jeans, depending on whether you're watching from in the stadium and where in the stadium, whether you'll have shade or not. And Saturday, have your umbrella and ponchos rainy, especially if you're going out trick-or-treating later in the evening. Now to look at the rest of the week ahead, that as I've mentioned, Friday's going to be nice, and we've got those chances of rain Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, especially Sunday and Monday, so be ready. But then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, once it clears out, lovely low 80s and perfect high 60s. But now let's send it back to the desk.
All right, thank you very much, Margaret. And that rain is on the way, but let's hope that it holds off just in time for the trick-or-treating Parents Weekend football game. We got everything going on this weekend around campus.
Yeah, a lot going on Parents Weekend, flying circus as well as that big game against the Knowles at noon on Saturday. It's against the Syracuse Orange, of course. It should be an exciting one out there. Nice conditions for that, upper 70s. Rain should hold off until later in the evening. Yeah,
looking pretty good. Hopefully, we could use a shower. Nothing too bad, obviously, to soak the phones or anything, but something to keep us cool. Something to make things comfortable out there. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you can, of course, make sure you like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter, or you can watch us on live stream anywhere at any time. Livestream.com/FSU Weather.
And don't forget to give the Instagram some love, too. We're also on Instagram at FSU Weather. So that's all we got for you here. So for FSU Weather, I am student meteorologist Jay Carstens.
I'm Casey Cloud, but again, it should be a nice weather situation, maybe a few showers in some of our western areas, but an overall nice evening in the next couple of days before that rain arrives in time for Halloween night. For now, thanks for joining us.